Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the ADS High School podcast. Today our episode is going to be about the daily life of a hijabi, in which we are going to be discussing not only our journey with the hijab, as well as the complexities of the reasons why we wear the hijab. So to start off, we are kind of going to go around the room and get everybody's initial perspective of the hijab as well as their journey with it. We'll just start with asking everybody, where is their journey with the hijab right now? When did it kind of start and how is it going? To start off, we have Mame.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mame and I am a 16-year-old junior in high school. And honestly, I don't really remember when I began wearing the hijab. Probably when I was like 10, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, my experience in being a hijabi was actually pretty great. And of course, being in an Islamic school always played a big role in that. I was surrounded by people wearing the hijab, dressing modestly, and even people wearing the niqab. So I never really felt out of place. So I'm very grateful for that. And wearing the hijab makes me feel secure and safe, and it gives me privacy, and more importantly, I'm fulfilling the obligations in my religion. So alhamdulillah, I feel very grateful to be able to wear the hijab and to have good experiences in wearing it.
My name is Semra Hodzic. I am a junior at Al-Salam Day School, and my journey with the hijab has been something that is a really big part of my life because I am a hijabi right now, and I became a hijabi when I was about to go into 7th grade, I believe. And I became a hijabi right before I took my first trip to Bosnia, which is where I'm from. And the reason why I wanted to do it before then was because this would be my first time in the country of my origin, the country where my parents were born and grew up. And I wanted to remember that trip with me being a hijabi during that trip. So one of the biggest factors in me kind of remembering that trip was obviously putting on the hijab. So I've always had a close relationship with the hijab. A lot of my family members wear the hijab. They became hijabi very young. And I would say that I value the hijab a lot because of the complexities within it and the fact that when I'm wearing the hijab, I'm not only acting on the command that Allah has given me, but I feel as if it is something that is protecting me. As we know, the hijab was prescribed for women because it is like a veil for your beauty. It protects you. And I definitely see that when I'm wearing the hijab. I feel as if it is kind of this protective barrier, and I feel better when I'm in the hijab than when I am not. So that's just kind of where I am in my journey with the hijab.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amal and I am in 11th grader at Al-Salam Day School. No, I am not a hijabi, but I do have quite a journey wearing it at school. My thoughts on hijab, like when I was younger, I didn't really know much about hijab or even that much about Islam. So I just thought that all like old people wear hijab or something because it's what they do and they get older. But as I grew older, now hijab isn't about your age or that time, it's about when you feel ready. And I did have a point in my life about a year ago where I did feel that I was ready to wear it, but then when I started wearing it out, I didn't feel I was ready, so I stopped wearing it. And I definitely regret that, but I'm just giving it more time. But when I do wear hijab, I do experience what other hijabis might experience, such as not an uncomfortable feeling, but just a sense of awareness that everyone's looking at you. But I learned to look at that as a positive way, because that just means that you're unique because they've never seen a hijab before.
Going off of Mammy's point about how she was always surrounded by women who were hijabi or women who were niqabi. This kind of makes me think of this phenomenon due to wearing the hijab that Muslim women have, and it is that when you are a Muslim woman in public, you are kind of like wearing your faith outside. So like the hijab is a representation of your faith, but it's also like you are showing your faith to others. And I think that's something that's really unique to Muslim women, because, you know, a lot of the times, or sometimes you might see a Muslim man out and you may not know if it's a Muslim man or not, but with a Muslim woman, if she's wearing her hijab, you'll know for sure like that is a Muslim woman, she's representing Islam. So I think it's an interesting point to bring up how Muslim women kind of have that, I guess you could say, responsibility, or that unique kind of trait that they have where they are pretty much a symbol of their faith, both within their own communities, like Mame mentioned about how being in Islamic school, she obviously was around hijabis and niqabis, but they also have that unique trait out in public where other people who see them will know what they represent and what they believe in. And I think that's a really special thing that comes with the hijab. So I have a question to ask you guys in relation to what I just spoke about. So we've talked about how Muslim women kind of have this external sign of their faith when they're in public, but what do you guys think about like how Muslim women deal with this, and how sometimes, even if it may seem like a scary thing to have that kind of attention on you in public, how do you think they like deal with that and are still able to like find strength in that in certain situations?
So for me personally, when I'm walking around like in the U.S., because we're living in the U.S., I don't care what people usually think. I just walk. I'm proud of wearing the hijab. I'm proud of wearing the abaya. So I just walk around. If people want to say anything, they can say whatever they want, but I will always be like, I'm a Muslim and I'm a hijabi and I'm proud of that.
I feel like because I've been wearing the hijab for a long time and like I've gotten used to it, that even if I'm in public or if like someone stares at me, I don't automatically think, oh, it's because of my hijab, or oh, because I'm wearing this jilbab. My mind usually goes to like other places.
Even though I don't wear hijab, I still feel proud when I wear it in places such as the ADS, or just like the masjid when I go to Friday prayer, or just like, yeah, in cases when I feel like wearing it, because I feel like it makes me a prouder Muslim than I already am. And like I get to show people who I really am, like not just who like Amal is, but like that like Amal is a Muslima. And that's just something I think is really beautiful about the hijab, that like people can know your identity from it.
I definitely agree with your point, Amal, about how the hijab makes you feel prouder, and I think I feel that personally. I've always felt better with the hijab than I felt without it, and I think that does in turn come with this feeling of pride of being able to show your religion in public, for me in my life. But I think Issedah has a story about this kind of public showing of Islam.
So yeah, I have a story of how like I started college even though I'm still in high school, and the way like when I see Muslims, I don't like, if it's a guy, I don't know if he's Muslim or not until a few guys would say salam, and then I would respond back to them. But for girls, if I see that they're wearing a hijab, like I know that they're Muslim, but for also there's like some girls that don't wear a hijab and I don't know until they're Muslim or anything, but they also don't say salam. So it's kind of like, I know it's like also like how the way salam works, there's like different rulings and how you should say salam to everybody, but as guys, I don't know they're Muslim until they say salam to me, and because I'm visibly a Muslim, they could see I'm wearing a hijab, they know that I'm a Muslim. So that's the only reason I feel like they can say salam to me, because they know I'm a Muslim, and you can't say salam to a non-Muslim, like salam alaikum, that's not right.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like when I'm wearing my hijab and I see like another hijabi, I kind of feel like it's kind of nice to be able to like acknowledge them and like be like, hey, there's somebody like me out there, and like say salam to them. I kind of like that relationship that you can have with like other hijabis that you've like just seen in public, like the salam that you can share with them. One last point that we kind of wanted to mention was the fact that the hijab although it is a commandment for women and it is obligatory upon women, we also see it as an honor upon women. And I think that the hijab in and of itself isn't just about the headscarf that you wear. It is, of course, about modesty as well. And when we say hijab, we also talk about a woman's manners and her akhlaq. And I think that in tandem with the hijab, it represents honor for a woman, but it's something that I'm proud of, because when I wear the hijab, I know it's a symbol of modesty, but I also know how important it is to also be honoring that commandment.
And with that being said, that is the end of the first episode in the ADS podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.